Welcome into another episode of the Power Hour. I am Steve. That is C Red lighting up his stick. And tonight, special guest star, we have the first ever, the one and only, the Chicago-Land Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, lighting up a stick just like C Red. I don't smoke, so I'd light one up myself. But I'm going to toast for the first time the man with the title right over his shoulder. It is Shogun Chris Logan, champ on behalf of everybody at CCW and all around the world on Amazon Prime, powered for TV, Fight TV, and Apple TV. Salute, champ. October 3rd, you are the king of the night, my brother.
My man.
You know, it's funny you say you don't smoke. Well, we know that, I smoke expensive. Chris Logan smokes expensive cigars. You can't afford this habit.
You're probably right about that.
You can't.
Isn't there a show on the CCW powered for TV network about you guys smoking cigars and enjoying yourself in like a cigar lounge type thing?
Yeah, it is actually the background you see right now is the background for the lounge. Actually, is my basement. You will be seeing that very soon. Due to a lot of stuff that's been going on, we haven't been able to put it out there yet, but it is coming very soon.
We all can't wait for that.
Yeah.
First of all, before we go, I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to Vice President and our lead interview commentator, Michael Allen. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Michael. Hope you enjoyed your day.
Yay! Happy birthday! All right.
Happy birthday.
First of all, when my birthday came up, did you give me a birthday shout out? No,
we didn't. Sorry.
No.
You're so mean to me every week, though. Why would I be? Well, we'll talk about that.
It's our show,
That's true.
You know what?
It's actually more your show than mine. It's more your show than ours. But anyway,
people like me more than they like you.
That much is absolutely clear. Chris, you're the champion, the first ever CCW champion. And I want to take you back to that night in October. I want to take you back to that match. You, Marche Rocket, Garrison Creed, basically stopped time as we know it. And we listened to people talk about it on Amazon Prime. We've listened to our friends, the Johns, talk about it on Powered for TV. I watched it on Fight TV myself. It's now available on Apple TV. The world has seen Shogun Chris Logan exercise his superpowers over two of the most impressive athletes I've ever seen. And that above your shoulder is proof positive that you are the man in Chicago-Land Championship Wrestling. You are the best. Take me back to that night, Chris Logan. What's your reaction from that night?
I just remember driving to the place where we're going to have the show, and it was a very lonely drive to the show. That was going to be one of the very first shows my wife was going to be at due to her starting this brand new job. And I just remember having butterflies again. I haven't had butterflies for a match in, I don't know how long. The butterflies were due to, for one, this is for a brand new company, brand new fan base. So the butterflies were there for that. But the butterflies again, the butterflies I felt was how I felt the very first time I ever did a wrestling match. So driving there, just wondering, I wouldn't say so much do I still have it, but because of COVID, I hadn't wrestled since March. It was beginning of March. And with those butterflies kicking in, I'm nervous. I get there, I'm seeing guys I haven't seen in 8 months, maybe almost a year, because some of the guys I haven't seen in a while. So we're all, embracing each other. Hey, how you doing? And people could see in my face that I'm nervous. They all gave me a reminder that Chris, you're the champ. You've always been a good wrestler, good guy. Just remember that. Remember who you are. And I wouldn't say I forgot who I was, but you do have that moment where how do I put it? You have this moment where time freezes almost. You know what I mean? Like, and you start going over everything you accomplished, and you have to go back and go, oh, that's why I'm here. And I had to remember that. And not so much I forget, I just had to remember it and remind myself. So I remember getting warmed up, and Garrison is getting warmed up, Marche is getting warmed up. All three of us just gave each other this look. We gave that look of, I'm going to win this, and I hope you're ready to come in second. And we just went out there, and I just remember the moves and taking certain moves from Garrison, taking that drop kick from Marche. And it was at one point when Garrison hit me with a move, and I was like, do I still have this? Can I beat them? And, you know, lo and behold, Garrison, he just made one mistake. He just made one. He probably could have had it, but he just made one mistake. And I was able to, you know, take advantage of that mistake. And took advantage. And it was just down to me and Marche. And I remember then when Marche hit me with that drop kick, and it kicked in my head again. Do I have the ability to beat this man? And out of nowhere, super kick 1, 2, 3. And I just remember the first off, the relief that the match is over, because I'm tired.
It was a tough match.
And I just remember just being on my knees and looking up, and I'm just like, I did it. And my emotions overwhelmed me. And the first thing came to my head was, I have a company that believes in me, and that's an awesome feeling. And a lot from what I take away from that match is the fans' response. They didn't know me. And for them to give me the response that they gave me was truly, it was warming. Like I get goosebumps thinking about it now. And I just remember at the end, you know, when they're chanting my name, and it reminded me of that feeling that I've always wanted. Being a wrestling fan, I'm always going to be a wrestling fan. And I remember watching certain wrestlers I grew up in, idols, and how people chanted their name. And I said, one day I may get to that level. To feel that is an incredible feeling. And one thing I remember most is from you, when my music's hit and I'm out there and I'm getting warmed up and I'm hearing you talk about me. And I remember you pretty much hyping me up, and I can hear you. And I think that's what really kicked in for me to really put on, do my best in the match. So I want to say thank you for that. Like, I won't forget that.
Wow. I have been a commentator in wrestling now for 7 years, not nearly as long as C-Red. But what you just said, I can't tell you what that means to me as a professional in this industry, to know that what I was saying had even a minute impact on where you went that night. Just means the world to me. And the gravity of that match was enormous. You can only be the first of something one time. And we talked about that on the show as we were the go home show, as we were getting ready to go to Grapple Masters in October, and you were there and Marche was there. And we were talking that there can only be one first. And you ended up with your effort and your passion being the first. And I remember after that match was over, I remember every fan in the building on their feet, some standing on their chairs. The reception was as loud as I've ever heard. And we were at half capacity due to COVID, but it sounded like a full arena to me. And then the locker room came out and surrounded the ring and were beating on the ring out of respect to what you had just accomplished. I thought that was pretty impressive.
That right now I'm getting chills thinking about that too. Like, I got emotional. You know, everybody, it's funny. The first thing people ever always know is about me, I'm a big guy. Okay, cool. But they don't know I am a big softie. Like, the one person that can account to that is my wife. She'll tell you Chris is the biggest softie in the world.
And you just celebrated an anniversary, right?
Yeah. 10 years together, 14. Well, 10 years married, 14 years together.
Happy anniversary. Years. That's an accomplishment. In this day and age, that's remarkable.
It is. We'll be together for 15 years in June. What?
Now you wishing anniversaries? You know what? Okay. Okay. I got you.
Why are you shaking your head when I'm talking about the people around the ring? Why are you shaking your head?
First of all, because everybody didn't come out.
Well, you didn't come out because you're a pompous ass.
First of all, I'm not a pompous ass. I was in the back, sir. So I had a different perspective than everybody else.
You had an agenda.
No, there was no agenda. Unlike you, sir. Again, I walked around the building the entire night.
I saw that. True.
So again, I saw things from the back. So I saw the actual fans' response. I saw how people were murmuring and clamoring when the main event was going on. See, you were focused on the match, which is your job.
Yes.
I was focused on not only the competitors in the ring, but the people outside the ring, how they were responding. How were they reacting? Were they happy? Were they upset? What happened when the final bell rang? See, I can give that perspective. You can't.
Well, go ahead.
No, because at this point, you have ticked me off because it's all about celebrating birthdays and anniversaries with you, with guests. But when it comes to anything about me, you refuse to acknowledge it.
Moving right along.
Hey, you
Go
know
ahead,
what?
Chris.
C-Red, can I just acknowledge how C-Red has been impacting the Chicagoland area for
18 years.
Yeah, we talking about almost 2 decades. Okay, think about that. It's 2 decades. So I can see why C-Red can be a little angry, a little hurt, a little, upset that he is not acknowledged. But I want to say, C-Red, thank you for everything that you've done in the Chicagoland area. Hey, did you notice that at some point during the show that some of your merchandise were like backwards and upside down?
Yeah, I realized that. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, when I came back out and I'm like, what the? Yeah.
Well, I just want to say that was just me saying thank you for everything that you've done in the business.
That's awesome.
I just felt like having a little fun that evening. That was my way of fighting.
Fun. Now, the best part was to walk out and know how you left stuff. And for me, it's always wondering, will a fan take it upon themselves and just steal from you? That's all. That's because I've had it happen before, and I don't trip, and I'm, let's break down the fourth wall. I'm one of those guys that really, if somebody wants something, you want it that bad, and you don't have enough money, I'll cut you a deal. Or guess what? I don't know how much stuff I done gave the kids for free.
I've seen you do that. I've seen you do that shows, giving stuff away.
Yeah, that's just how I am. But so to wonder, oh, okay, wonder is my stuff gonna be there, and then it's all upside down, and I'm like, who did this? Now you have to understand. So I don't know who. I can't remember. I know the Chicago Connection and somebody else, Garrison Creed.
Mrs. Rocket was out there.
No, but she was to my right.
Mrs. Rocket.
She was to my right. So I know
Mrs. Rocket.
I know Mrs. Rocket. So I wasn't worried and think that she would do it. But it was like, who's on my left? And I'm like, the connection is too far down. So I don't think that. And I had no clue. And then Mrs. Rocket just said, which was funny. She was like, it was a big black guy. And she wouldn't give me the name.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Until later on, and it was like, it makes sense. It makes sense. But I got your kudos, Shogun. I got your kudos. I appreciate it, But it was just like,
since I should have done this a long time ago, but we'll do it now since I'm surrounded by Chicagoland royalty. I remember seeing Chris Logan for the first time at Pro Wrestling Blitz at WrestleFest 6. And I remember him talking to me for a few seconds and just being amazed as he told stories about the police department. I'm like, wow, this guy is so impressive. And you've been doing what you do better than anybody for so long. And C-Red, though I don't say it often, 18 years in this business, you've been a trendsetter. You have been a leader. You have been a personality that people have loved and hated for 18 years. And brother, that is impressive. I'm going to raise my glass to two of the best in this business in Chicago. There would be no Chicago without the two of you. And the stories about reverse merchandise are why I love to do this show each and every Tuesday night. I thank you. I salute you. And it is a genuine privilege to call your matches. And I thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Now,
Thank you, Steve.
Back to business.
Time I got some kudos.
You're right. And I agree with that. I want you to look over your shoulder at that title. That belt has never been around a human's waist before until it went around your waist. Every wrestler, when they're a kid in their backyard jumping around, pretending they're Jeff Hardy or whoever, Jimmy Snuka, whoever you are, whatever area you're from, you imagine jumping off the top rope and winning that first title. That is the first title ever worn by a person. Wherever Chicago-Land Championship Wrestling goes, to the stratosphere, to the next level, to the next century, there's only one first, and that's you. What's your perspective on, in the history books, it's going to say first ever Chicago-Land Championship Wrestling champion, Shogun Chris Logan. That's damned impressive. Speak about that.
Honestly, it goes back to the being nervous. When you're given an opportunity and you take that opportunity and you have accomplished that opportunity, which is right here, it's not overwhelming, but the idea that somebody trusted me to be in a match, to have the opportunity to accomplish this, that meant a lot to me. And to be the first of a company, I mean, that is definitely something new for me, because I have scrapped for years to make it to the top. And I can still remember, and it's funny. And the reason I remember, because somebody tagged me in a post, my brother, we did a promo, and it was me challenging David Richards. And this is about 7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that. So it was pretty much me talking about, I'm trying to get to the top. And I remember it was one point where I heard, it was a rumor, but to this day it still hasn't been proven, but it was a rumor. And I was trying to get into a very prestigious company in the Chicago area. And the person who did the bookings said that I'll be nothing more than a dark match. I'm good, but I'll be nothing more than a dark match. That has always been fuel to my fire, because I take that with me all the time before I do a wrestling match. I am not just a dark match. I've always felt that I'm more than that. So when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's always going to be my motivation, to be better. And then when I made it to the top here, that touched me. And I just remember coming home, put the belt on my bar, and I said that this is not leaving my bar for a very long time. I want to be able to be that guy to represent Chicagoland wrestling, and to be able to help take this company to the next level. I know I can. It's just about believing in myself. I remember at one point in my career, I was called cocky. I was called arrogant. I was called, uh, you know, kind of obnoxious. And maybe I still have. Hey, I look. That's what I am. Okay, if that's what you think I am, that's fine. But it's not so much I'm cocky, arrogant, obnoxious. I'm very confident in what I am, or who I am, and what I do. So I carry that with myself. And at one point, I lost that in myself. I lost that for a very long time. I didn't believe in myself for a very long time. And it took some help from family, friends, loved ones to remind me of who I am. And once I remember that, and got that confidence back, I was determined to be the best wherever I go. And I've learned that it's not so much about being the best. You know, we can argue for days about who's the best professional wrestler in our business. I mean, you'll have people argue that Stone Cold. You can have people argue it's The Rock, people Shawn Michaels, Eddie Guerrero, Kurt Angle. We can go down the line and we can have arguments. It's not so much about who's the best, about what you bring different to the table. And I'm a different experience. And that's how I carry myself, being a different experience for a company, for the fans. So that's what I am. It's not so much I'm the best, I'm just different. And I believe in my abilities to uh, be that different wrestler, to bring the people into me and 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 be able to carry this company to be one of the best and different companies in the Midwest.
Well, I'll tell you this, character is either something you have or you don't. And I remember back in 2015, sitting in Romeoville at the big complex as WrestleFest 6 was beginning. And I remember getting a chance to meet you. And I was we were broadcasting on the internet. We didn't have any cameras. Billy Wack and CM Venom were the broadcasters that were on TV. I was doing a simulcast for a school. And I remember you taking time to talk to me, and you didn't talk to me like an outsider. You didn't talk to me like a Punk fan. You talked to me like a person. And I've been down the road a bit now in wrestling for, going on 8 years now. And I never forgot that back from 2015. That's 6 years ago. And I thought you were first class back then. And I found it to be a privilege to be able to call that match for a couple of reasons. Number one, I watched all the matches in WrestleFest 6 for Pro Wrestling Blitz, and it was a staggering card, and you did amazing things that night. But to come forward 6 years, that's more than half a decade, and to look physically the same, to be in incredible physical condition, and then to take on two people like Marshe Rocket, Mr. Impact, Mr. M80, half man, half amazing, and Garrison Creed, the mercenary. I mean, it would be a challenge for anybody else to take on one of those guys on a given night, let alone both those guys on a given night. And you rose to that challenge and you succeeded in ways that defy description. And I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the product on Amazon or Powered for TV, but the way it looks in the ring and everything that happened that night, I only hope we did the match justice on commentary, because it really was something special.
Bro, you guys did a hell of a job from front to back commentating. Can I just say, I remember when John put up there, we made it on Amazon. And I have, this is the bougie part, you see, Red, I have a little theater type gimmick in my basement, so I have a projector. And I have a 110-inch screen. And I remember to go to Amazon Prime. I typed in Chicagoland Pro Wrestling. And there I am on Amazon Prime. I cried.
As the main shot.
Yeah.
The main shot. Like that's crazy. Like that has to be like
on Amazon.
A crazy feeling to pull it up, and like there's all these little tiles, but even that one tile, it's you with the title. And let me just say this. What you have left out, Steve, is think about these three men, right?
Right.
These three men for the title. It originally was 4.
Yeah.
Remember.
You're right.
So if I'm correct, Logan was supposed to fight Vic Capri.
That's right.
So can you imagine what it's like training to face the ice pit Vic Capri for weeks and months. And then, like that, your opponent is gone. So now you have to have the frame of mind is, well, what do I do now? Where am I going? And instead of maybe 2 matches that night, now you got one and you're in the ring with the other 2 guys all at the same time. So now it goes from Vic to now I have to study everybody and know everything before I go in.
And it's funny, see, you bringing that up. It's funny you brought that up. I have faced Vic. Oh my God. I have faced Vic several times before we were supposed to have the match at Chicagoland. And I've only faced Marche one-on-one once, and I've only faced Creed once. And so you're still learning people, you know. I know Vic. I know what he's gonna do. I know when he's gonna throw this forearm. I know he's gonna throw the knee. I know he's gonna try to hit the sliced bread. I know this stuff. But when you've only faced a person once, you don't know everything yet. You don't know their rhythm. And Creed is, geez, that dude is so fast.
He is so fast. Yes.
He is fast and he's strong. Okay? Creed is fast and strong. Think about that. And you got Marche, who has wrestled legit in different countries. Okay? And he's wrestled in different countries. He's wrestled big names. He's Mr. Impact. Okay? So with that on top of those 2, you got to say, okay, what am I going to do against both? And to this day, I'm still trying to figure out how this happened because I was just able to take advantage of a couple things and was able to come out on top. But Marche, Mr. M80, and Creed, man, look, I don't care what y'all do, but what I'm gonna do right now, in my Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated class, shout out to my fraternity, okay? I'm gonna give a toast to Marche and Creed because Marche, his name is known. But I'm telling you right now, everybody watch out for Creed. Creed is the next big thing in the Midwest. And before we know it, that dude is gonna be walking down an aisle in a major company. So big ups to both of them.
To Creed and to Shay.
It's Marche to you. Get it right.
I'm not apologizing to you anymore.
Let me just you don't worry about it. When you speak anybody's name that I've ever been associated with, put some respect on it.
Listen.
Anyway.
I want to let me give you something. That point. I'm gonna say this first. I'm gonna let you go in a minute. Let me make this point. The fact that you brought up that Vic Capri was the original opponent, that is remarkable clarity, C-Red. I had forgotten all about that. And
I didn't
forget the ice.
I'm sure.
Someday Vic Capri is going to come knocking on Shogun's door, and that is going to be a match that I want to see.
You know what? I hope the next time Vic comes knocking on my door is to sit down and watch some New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Right, but here's the thing:
if he's knocking on my door,
he don't want to knock on that door. It's some scary things when you walk inside that door, and you heard one earlier. That wait.
I had to strip Vic Capri of his title in CSW because of his injury. The entire time I was in the ring with him, I'm like, this is not my call. I'm the GM, but this is not my call. I would just let you have it until you're healed, but they said you got to take it away. So fortunately he didn't kill me, but I was on eggshells the entire night in that ring with him.
Okay, let's go back first of all. C-Red, they are not scary. They're the cutest dogs ever.
They're cute, but and I like. Hey, first of all, I got along with them. But let's be honest. If the average person opens your door and they came down to greet them, chuck wagon.
I know. And
Just saying.
let's go. And can we go back real quick? Let's go back to Vic Capri really, really
Yeah.
quick. And I feel bad that I kind of left him out of this. And because I consider Vic Capri as a brother more than just a friend. Me and Vic don't talk like every day. Like we message each other every once in a while, keep up with each other. Hey, how you doing? Everything is okay. But Vic is one of those guys, as it don't matter what kind of rivalry we are in. When he walks in the locker room, me and him, boom, we're talking. And we're just talking about life. And we both know we're about to wrestle each other that night. We're both about to go against each other. We're about to legit beat the hell out of each other.
No doubt.
But we are talking about just life in general. And I have learned actually a lot from Vic when it comes to professional wrestling. And Vic is just Vic, I mean, shit, 20 plus years, longer than that. I mean, to look the way he looks at his age, remarkable. And he always bounced back. He's had, I don't know how many injuries this man has had, but he always bounced back. And when he bounced back again, everybody watch out because Vic is going to come out swinging, and whoever's going to be in his way, move. And I know one day it's going to happen again, but he's going to be gunning for me too.
Yeah.
And when it happens, I cannot wait because when me and him get into the ring again, everybody stop what you're doing and just watch and watch what we're going to do in that ring. So one more time, Vic. Sorry I left you out. That's my fault, bro. But I want to say big ups to
See,
you.
this is what happened at the lounge.
Yeah, this what happened at the lounge. This what happens at the lounge.
Vic Capri,
I'll say,
pound for
I love
pound,
you.
one of the greatest wrestlers to ever lace up a set of boots in the Chicagoland area. Here's to you, Vic.
Hey, and where, let's see, where is Vic Capri from? Where did he start?
Is this place called Windy City Pro Wrestling?
Is it just
where did you start at?
Me? Oh, no.
Not you.
Not me.
Logan.
This place called Windy City Pro Wrestling.
Oh, and what's the company I started with?
This place called Windy City Pro
Windy
Wrestling.
City?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Let's say this. I see where Red's going. Let's say this straight away. Most of the great situations that occur that are still being perpetuated in the Chicago land area in the Midwest are direct byproducts of Windy City Pro Wrestling. You cannot equate what that company has meant to wrestling in this area. It's not even close. So there is a constant level of respect anytime any person that has ever been associated with Windy City Pro Wrestling. I mean, C-Red, you, I mean, you don't even, it's not even a thing anymore. I mean, they're the GOAT. I mean, am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, no,
you're totally right.
Windy City, I mean, we talked about this in the lounge. We talked about how, Windy City is, Sam DeSera was the godfather of professional wrestling in the Midwest for a very long time. Still is in a way. And Windy City has a lot of rich history that would never, ever go away. No matter what you do, how you say it, it's going to be 50, 60 years from now. And C-Red, myself, my brother, Vic, DeAndre, the assassin, we're going to be on our deathbeds talking about no matter what y'all think y'all doing, Windy City is the reason why y'all here. And we're always going to say that. Yeah. And you got to give respect to that, and how they kept the tradition going for a very long time. So Windy City is always going to be part of it's going to be in my heart forever. I would never, ever, ever deny that. Windy City is going to be in my heart. So I still say thank you to Sam DeSera for the training. I want to give some shout outs real quick to Curtis Kelly as well as Barry Wright, because they had a hand in my training. When Sam wasn't there, Curtis and Barry were the guys helping me out. So I want to say thank you to both of them as well.
And I mean, let's be honest. I mean, there is no Chicago scene without the branches of Windy City. Yeah. Let's just keep that real. So when you say Ivan Manson, when you say Acid Jazz, Marche Rocket, Willie Richardson, when you Jimmy Blaze, when you there, every company, there are seeds planted of Windy City.
Mhm.
And you know, it is what it is, you know. Um, we it's funny that he talked about, Chris mentioned how him and Vic Capri see each other, and there's the calm before the storm.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the way we were brought up after a certain period of time. Now, when you were a rookie, you just didn't talk to anybody. That you just didn't.
No.
But as you moved up the hierarchy, uh, you got to talk to people, and you got to pick their brains, and
You know, it's funny.
that's what made everything so special. You know.
Can I say something real quick, T?
Oh, of
That's
course.
what's funny. The I was going straight to the vets. I didn't wait. I did, maybe that was just the confidence in me. I just went to the vets like, hey, what's going on? You know, I'm Chris. Can I talk to you? That was just me. I think I've always been like that, but I've always been very humble when I went to a person. And and this is where I think that things have changed because a lot of guys who were rookies are not vets. They don't want the rookies to wait. They want them to come, to
Yeah.
talk because, now people that consider me as a vet, I mean, shit, I got 11 years in the business. The shit, now no, wait a minute. Yeah, I got 11 years in the business now. That's crazy. I'm considered a vet now. So, dude, it's flies. Uh, I got, I, I want to talk to people. I want to give them ideas and want to help them develop, because I'm not going to be around forever. So me, and I'm always still, even though I'm a vet, I'm always eager to learn. I love learning. I love learning new ideas of how to put things together, and and that's how I make myself better. I will still go to C-Red. I will still go to Vic. Hell, I'll even go to Steve Voss to get ideas.
I love Steve
That's
Oz.
yeah, and believe it or not, I'll go to a guy who only got like 3 or 4 years in the business and say, hey, how did you do that? What made you do that? What made you think of that? Because I like that. And I think uh, that's how you develop yourself even more. So I was eager. So I move people out the way. I don't care if you're a vet, 15, 20, 30 years in the business. I'm gonna walk up and talk to you because I want to know how you got where you're at.
Well, see, but the difference is, though, first of all, we were told if you do that, expect a big butt whooping later. Um, and I agree. The sad part is 9 times out of 10, I'm an old man in the locker room. Um, and I don't have a problem with anybody coming to
old man.
somebody coming up and talking to me. And I think just my problem today is not the ones that um, approach me. It's the ones that don't approach me that think they know everything. Those are the
Mhm.
ones that bother me. And story that Steve doesn't know is
I don't know anything at all.
Logan, your first match. Who was there when you were
You
done?
you were uh you
No,
were
I'm just saying you don't have to go on everybody else.
oh
But the point is, so it's funny because I've
actually
been having
one of the female vets, I forget her name right now. She's a black wrestler. She actually gave me a really good compliment after my first
Crystal
match came up to me.
Carmichael, now
Was it
Crystal White.
Okay. Then it was, yeah, Crystal came up to me and she said, how long you been working? I said, that's my first match. And she was like, you look like you've been working for a while now. You look pretty good out there. Good job. And I was like, oh, holy shit. Like that meant something. The ref, geez, Nicholas. That was my very first ref. And he even said the same thing. He was like, dude, you ain't even working this, this your first match. He was like, wow, you're gonna really do something. And that didn't make me cocky. That just motivated me to be better. Like that kind of stuff. Like people need to hear that. If you do something good, a vet needs to go to a person and say, or a wrestler, they saw something good. Hey, you did great. This is gonna make that person better. But at the same time, you still gotta keep them humble by saying, hey, but I did see this. Let's work on it. I never believed in putting a person down and saying, you did bad, you did this bad, you did. I always say, hey, I saw you do this. Let's do it differently. Let's try it like this instead. There's much more better ways in critiquing a person than putting them down. There's a very known, well respected wrestler that did that to me while I was in pro wrestling blitz, where he put me down instead of saying, I saw this, let's try this differently. And I felt like it wasn't a critique. I felt like it was more of a thrashing. And that was motivation as well. So uh, I learned from that and learning how to critique a person. So with you being there, Crystal being there, that to me was some cool shit. Like, excuse my language, but that meant a lot to me. Those things mean a lot to me to motivate.
Well, but I brought that moment up for the simple fact that I've been having this big debate with people all in Chicago. So Chicago fans are upset because the Bears been out the playoffs. Then they wanted the Packers to lose Sunday, and that didn't happen.
It always comes back to Tom Brady, damn it.
Comes back, baby. TB12, baby.
Always
TB12.
comes back to TB12.
But the funny thing is, people are upset, or people that know me are upset because they be like, oh, I thought you were a Patriots fan. Where's Tom Brady at?
What did I Facebook you, tag you in that night? What did I say on Facebook to you? C-Red, you were right all along. Did I not? Did I not give you the respect?
You gave me the respect, but I'm saying, so here's the thing. People don't grasp the concept, and I'm trying to make this short, that I follow Tom Brady since Michigan. So this wasn't some overnight, oh, I like this guy thing. I have a problem with team, not so much as team sports, but in a way I do. Just for the simple fact, I'm an only child, so I'm an individual. I was in the military, and when you're in the military, you don't get.
Wait, you don't. Wait. Hold on. You're the only child.
I'm the only child.
That explains. So.
Yeah, don't it though? Just a lot of a long time. Bad.
You can't get this content on any other show, and this is why C-Red. I could have picked anyone to be the co-host of this show. That's why I chose him, because
he knew I wasn't gonna have nothing else to do. That's the bottom line.
Windy City perspective is unbelievable. The fact that you guys are telling stories, I could sit here and listen to this for 6 hours.
I'm sure. Anyway,
I can't do 6 hours because I got a masseuse. I got a massage schedule. My masseuse, she just got here a little while ago.
We're gonna get you out of here.
We're gonna quickly get to the point. Anyway, so I've always just been about individuals. So, like, I recognize Tom Brady being something special in Michigan. That night, to watch Logan wrestle. Now, again, he's already said Crystal Carmichael White gave him kudos. Nicholas H. gave him kudos. I saw something in the Shogun that it's rare. You know what I'm saying? It's like when I saw Marche. Rare.
I saw
it. And again, to be in the business for 18, almost 19 years, and you see people come and go. And I'm not talking about people that have been in the business and traveled and all. No, I'm talking about you seeing people break into the business. And I want to be a wrestler. I want to do this. And 6 months later, they're gone. A year later, they're gone. They can't even get through training. They quit.
Shogun's still here.
So to see him that night, I knew special. I knew it. So, I mean, that's just a testament to you, sir. that again, I was honored to see your first match.
I appreciate it.
And I ain't dead.
Not yet.
Hey man.
I'm just saying. You and
But
me both.
I saw his last match. I'm just saying.
As did
So
I.
I have the perspective of seeing the first time he walked out and the last time he walked out.
You did.
And I'm telling you.
That's for you to say that, man. Like I said, I can't be tough all the time, and I get a little soft here and there when I hear stuff like that because that means a lot to me. Believe it, those things mean something to me, and I never take it for granted. I'm very humble when a person like She Red said that. When you know Steve, said it, and other wrestlers have said it to me. And that just means a lot to me, uh, and it just makes me want to get better because I know I can be more. I know I can. Just you gotta wait for certain opportunities to be there, and you can knock the door down. So I just want to say thank you. That really did. It really does mean a lot to me. Like that hit me in a way. Like wow, that's actually cool stuff. To hear that from you. Uh, it's funny. My wife told me, people gonna know who you are one day. Um, and my the reason why I continue wrestling, like it's funny you said that, people come and go. And I remember it was one point where I was ready to go. And my wife, no matter how much she gets on my nerves,
They
how
do.
many
I got one of those.
how we have fought over the stuff. We just got in an argument yesterday about the new garage being built in the backyard soon, and how my yard is kind of thin, so it can only probably be a 1.5 car garage. She's like, I didn't think your Corvette is going to take up the garage while I can't park my car in the back, and we just got this huge thing. And of course, I go back and I hug her. I'm like, I'm sorry, babe. Like, I'm sorry, my dream car ruined your moment of not having snow on your car. And, but anyway, we, she has been one of the motivations to keep me going. You know, she has showed up to, I would say 80% of my shows. The last couple times she hasn't been showed up because she started this new job. And she's always happy for me when she sees me bring another belt home. And I am always excited to bring another belt home just to see her face. I don't even care about mine. It's more to see her face and see her light up and see her be happy for me because she's genuinely happy for me. And that's always my motivation to do more.
I'm sure it's motivation. I remember those nights.
All right, so Chris has got him a suit waiting, so we're going to push on to a couple of final topics. On April 17th, Grapple Masters returns to Michigan City, Indiana. The stakes are higher. The matches are bigger. It's going to be more electrifying. It's going to be on Amazon, powered for TV. It's going to be on Fight TV. It's going to be on Apple TV. Grapple Masters, they're not calling it 2, but it's the second Grapple Masters, let's be honest. And you have a challenge at Grapple Masters 2 against the Shogun. It's the Shogun versus the Shogun. It's D-Ray 3000. That man has been everywhere. That man has pictures with straps all over his body. Chris Logan, what say you about your competitor, April 17th, as we head into the next chapter of the champ that is the Shogun, Chris Logan?
As you're saying all of that. As you're saying on that, and I am, puffing on this very delicious Monte Cristo number 2.
Number 2.
Number 2. And I'm sipping on this Buffalo Trace. I'm thinking about some of the stuff I've seen D-Ray do. And he's accomplished a lot. I've belts, impact, traveled. Hey, you're the man in my book. But you haven't traveled to the Chicagoland area. And you haven't faced someone like me. And there's a reason why I am the champion. It's the way I carried myself. I used to say the Shogun Chris Logan is more than a name, it's a lifestyle, which it is to this day. But now, as I've gotten better, gotten smarter, I've gotten more confidence in the things that I do. When I face a person with the caliber of the Frogan, I say to myself that he's just another, I want to say, person I could put in my resume that I've wrestled to show what I've accomplished in my career. So I'm not taking nothing from the Frogan. So don't think I'm gonna take anything away from the man. I know he's talented. I can't wait for Grapple Masters. But I'm gonna tell him, like I tell majority of my opponents, come that date, I hope you have your knee pads ready to bow to the Shogun.
Damn. The Frogun, the Frogun DRA 3000, his pedigree, his resume are top shelf, and John Bullard pulled off a major coup to have him be your first title offense. And that is magic that's going to happen April 17th in Michigan City, Indiana at Grapple Masters on Amazon Prime, powered for TV, Fight TV, and Apple TV. That match is going to be stellar, and there's no doubt about it. And sitting at commentary, I'm going to have the best seat in the house to see the best match of the night. It's going to be electric. I can't wait to see what Michigan City has that night. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't at least mention this, and this is no respect to the Frogun, because we know he's next on your agenda as far as defending that belt. But it's been very, very well stated that a member of the Chicago connection, Mr. 3% John Hudson, is calling himself the CCW champion. Now, I have to imagine that doesn't sit well.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Connection agenda has been established.
I am a journalist, and the challenges have been made. John Hudson has had some inflammatory things to say about the Shogun. I'm just wondering what your opinion is of that situation.
So take another puff of the Monte Cristo.
Please.
So I can relax. I gotta relax it. Because I've seen the things you said. Okay, cool. 3%. Brother, you are definitely 3%. 3% in mentality to say some of the things that you've said about me. You are definitely at 3% of intelligence to think that you are the CCW heavyweight champion. I'm sorry, Chicago-Land. Yeah, CCW Championship Wrestling. My brain is all over the place right now because I'm thinking about some of the stuff I said. So for you to say those things and be very confident in calling yourself champion, brother, that 3% of your brain has gotten you confused about who the real champion is. Take a look. Take a look right here. Look at it with me. I'm going to stare at it. You stare at it too. C-Red, Steve, what's sitting on my bar in my house at this moment?
That would be the Chicagoland Championship Wrestling Heavyweight Championship belt on your bar in your basement at the residence of the Shogun Chris Logan.
And it's been there since
a long time, since October.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure this is not an illusion.
Not at all.
You know, making
we
sure.
all saw the match on October 3rd. We all saw
all
it.
Right. It's
Pick
real.
It up.
It's real. Yeah, I picked it up. It's real.
It's real.
So that means I'm the champion. That means I'm the best at Chicagoland. 3%. Listen clear. Okay. You can say everything that you want. You can claim something that isn't. But make no mistake who I am. Make no mistake, the things I've done in the past 11 years. Make no mistake that I have wrestled some of the best, and I am still here. And there's a reason why. I'm not called a Shogun for no reason. I'm a master at what I do. So for you to keep saying those things in your interviews and putting me down and make it seem that I'm a paperweight, you are touching some nerves. Don't worry. After the 17th, this still will be around my waist. So if you want some, come get some. And what's going to happen when you finally get in the ring with me, I'm going to give you some act right, youngster. So get your knee pads ready and bow to the show.
Strong words from the CCW heavyweight champion to John Hudson of the Chicago Connection. But when you challenge,
ain't that a part of the group you with? So I'm directed towards you too.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying too.
I'm a professional on this show. I'm a professional in the broadcast booth at all times. Despite my lineages, I will conduct myself accordingly. I want to do the rapid fire segment real quick before.
First of all, see, and I knew he was gonna forget this, Chris. So, somebody that I know, he just asked, when does he get a rematch? And that is All Day Marche Rocky. So again, I knew that Steve wasn't gonna ask that question dealing with all the Chicago connection
What's
stuff.
number two?
You know.
What's number two on my list?
Put it down. Don't nobody.
I was about to ask, Marche is my first on the rapid fire, and I was going to say Marche wants to know when he gets his rematch, and I think a championship match, Shogun Chris Logan versus the man that has 6'2" talent in a 5'2" world, Marche Rocket, would be one of the greatest main events in the history of main events. So let's start with Marche Rocket. He wants to know when he gets his rematch, and I would like to know what you think of him.
Sign the paperwork. Let's go. If I can do it right after Froga, let's go. If I can do it before the Froga, let's go. You think I don't want to wrestle Marche again? You don't think I want to be in the ring with a person like that? Make it happen. You get your rematch anytime you want to. That's not a problem. Where's the contract? If he job, makes up the contract, puts it in front of me, I'm signing it. Plain and simple.
Simple, Steve. See how easy that was?
That was pretty easy. It sounds like you have a lot of respect for the man known as Mr. M80.
Yes, sir.
All right. Next up on my list of rapid fire subjects, I'd like to know your thoughts on the Paragon because he has. I'm sorry. I'd like to know your thoughts on Paragon.
Mess up the man's name again. Oh my God.
We're gonna edit that out. I'm editing that out in post-production.
Oh my God. Let me tweet him right now.
On Paragon, because he had very strong thoughts about you. Paragon.
What was it? What did he say about me? What did he say about me?
He says that he's the right. I mean, again, a lot of people think they're the rightful champion, and Paragon is no shortage of confidence. What do you say about the man known as Paragon?
Paragon, I'm be honest with you. I don't know much about you. I'm just learning about you. I've seen some of your stuff through Facebook. One thing I can say about the guy, he oozes confidence through one picture. I mean, he has his picks up, and you could tell he is very confident of who he is. I love that. But guys, stop. Stop being delusional. Stop thinking you're the best. Until you beat the best, you're not. Once again, where is this at? It's right here.
It's your basement, your bar.
When you take this off the bar, then you can claim who you are. But until then, get in line, young man. And you'll have your chance to bow to the Shogun as well.
I like that from a merch angle. When you take this off the bar, you could, that's amazing. I would put that on a t-shirt immediately. One last person in rapid fire, a member of the Sin City Playboys, a man that is a giant and very physically imposing, Tully. What do you think of Tully?
He pours too much bourbon.
Ooh,
There. I said
That may
it
or may not
before
be
him.
true. I didn't get invited to Cigar Lounge.
I think he did that on purpose. I think he was trying to see my weakness.
But
Because
here's the
He's
crazy
always
part.
scouting.
he
But
kept
here's the
pouring.
crazy
Scouting.
part. There was no weakness for you. There was no weakness for your brother. And there was no weakness because he didn't drink for him. Who was the victim that night?
I can, from what the rest I remember, I don't know.
I know who, and I'm pointing to him right now.
At least let me sit and watch the next one. I might not
Television.
smoke, but I'd like to watch it.
Listen, television. Let me tell you something about television. I've actually known television for a very, very long time. Me and him, he started, I think, a year or two before me in professional wrestling. But I'm gonna say it like this, and I say this with no ego. Who's made it the farthest? That's all I'm gonna say.
I got one more for you.
You just said 3.
Well, I got one more because I'm curious because the man is one of the most polarizing figures in CCW. He has confidence like I've never seen before, and he is called the Ewok. He's got his own belt.
Yeah, yeah. Ewok. Hey, can I say something?
He's a tough
That
bastard.
that
Say what
man
you
got
need.
some. That man got some merch out this world. I mean, his hats, his t-shirts. I gotta give it to the man. That
That man,
man,
he's got testicles
he
the size of Kusaba melons. That man,
it- he has a lot of talent. He has a lot of he's building up his charisma as well. I mean, have you seen him lately? How much weight he's lost?
unbelievable. He looks fantastic.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, I'm not being cocky when I say it. What I mean by that is he is rising up, and by the time he gets to where I'm at, uh, either A, I've gotten much wiser in the sport, or B, I might even lose a step or two. Who knows? Uh, but Mr. Ewok is definitely on the rise. I think everybody in Chicagoland area need to watch out for him because uh, I've seen him train and he's eager to learn. He wants to learn. He wants to get better. So everybody watch out for Ewok when he gets everything together just right.
Chris Logan, you've been a joy to have as a guest. Any final thoughts from you as Chicagoland wrestling champion, as wrestling royalty in Chicago, as a product of the proud Windy City Championship Wrestling brand?
I want to. What C Red said to me earlier makes me want to take a step back from me. It makes me want to say thank you to people that have been big to me in my career and helped me get where I'm at. I want to say thank you to C Red, being the first person to shake my hand. Crystal, thank you for giving me that great compliment. Nicholas, thank you so much for the compliments and the guidance he's also shown me. Sam DeCero, thank you. I know me and you haven't talked in a while, but you you also told me at one point that I could be something. I want to say thank you to my brother Nicholas, uh, aka Shane Foster. Y'all don't worry about me. Worry about him. That boy, that's gonna be the monster of the Midwest, hands down. I want to say thank you to DeAndre the Assassin. I mean, he he's definitely
Who?
you bring up if you bring up you bring up DTA in certain circles, they're gonna have jokes, but at the same time, they're always gonna say nothing but great things about that man. And he's one of the reasons why my character developed so much. I want to say thank you to my boy Marcelo, Brian, Tyler. Even though we don't see each other as much as we want to, but we all give each other some kind of confidence to keep going. Shit, I want to say thank you to Billy Wack. Billy Wack is
Love me
one of
some
the
Billy
main
Wack.
honestly, Billy Wack is one of the main reasons I'm here. Billy Wack really pushed me when it came to pro wrestling blitz. And he pushed me towards Tony Scarpone. I want to say thank you to Tony. Tony gave me a chance, an opportunity. I mean,
Dude, I've heard from Scarpone. I mean, and again, this is a shoot, break down the fourth wall. I've been having issues or whatever. I've heard from Scarpone like every day.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to realize I didn't work for Blitz. I knew Scarpone before Blitz. So I never got a chance to get into Blitz. And that was only basically, that was the dates he was running. I was also booked somewhere else. But for Tony Scarpone personally to text me every day and just say, "You good, bro? You good?" So again, I understand when you know, Tony Scarpone, my guy, he probably ain't gonna watch it, but Tony, if you watching, thank you.
No, seriously, Tony, and I want to actually thank Tony's mom. Tony's mom is the reason why Tony made me get on the show. Tony's mom looked at me and said, "How come he's not booked on this show?" Yeah. One day I'll break down at the next lounge. When we do the next lounge, I'll break down the fourth wall and I explain the whole story of how I got into pro wrestling. Besides Billy Wack getting me. His mom is one of the key elements of me.
We got to, because I got a Billy Wack story too. I've got.
Please let me at least watch. Can I at least watch the taping?
No. You don't smoke, you don't drink, so no.
And the last two people,
I drink plenty.
The last two people I want to say thank you to. Actually three. John, thank you. Thank you.
In Bullard, we trust.
Next is my mom. My mom passed away last year around this time, January 11th. We pulled the plug on the 10th. She passed away on the 11th. If it wasn't for my mom, my brother and myself would not be who we are. The reason why we are who we are is because she allowed us to be children. She allowed us to be kids and grow up with an imagination. And she allowed us to be who we are. And if it wasn't, even though she thought it was crazy to do professional wrestling, she still was behind me 100%. I want to say thank you. And last but not least, I want to thank my wife. If it wasn't for Carrie, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for her saying, "Babe, you got this, keep pushing forward," I wouldn't be here. So that's what I want to do. And I've done it. Say thank you to everybody who supported me. And if I left you out, one more person, he probably won't watch it, Bailey Maddox. Bailey Maddox actually helped me a lot in my career and my training. I know he's an infamous name. I know he is, but he helped me out a lot as well.
Well, I must say, I met Mrs. Shogun, lovely woman. So I don't know what's better, the belt on the bar or the masseuse that's waiting upstairs. So I'm just saying, because really I'd throw the belt in the trash if it was me. If I had to pick the two.
This is one of the prettiest belts I've ever had, okay?
I know, I've seen it, but I'm just saying, if I had to pick between the two, no offense, John, I'm just saying.
In fact, I might just wear the belt while I'm getting massage.
Wow. See, that's my guy.
That's the way.
Anyway, before we end, again, like I just stated, thank you again, breaking down the fourth wall. Steve has reached out continuously while I've been going through some issues. Jamie, Stacy, Vito Tomaselli.
Vito.
Shit.
Vito's gonna tattoo me on the air.
Paulie, sorry, Paulie, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for leaving you out. Thank you very much too. Great gear and great opponent in the ring. Sorry, go ahead.
Hell, just anybody. Paragon, dude.
Not the Paragon, just Paragon.
I said Paragon. You said the Paragon.
I'm gonna get it.
Especially with last week's episode. Again, anybody that has thought about me, prayed for me, told me to kiss your ass, whatever. You just had thoughts about me this past week. I appreciate you. I just wish nothing but love and the best for anybody that's thought about me. I'm not 100%. I'm getting better. But thank you all that just reached out with words of encouragement and love and positivity. Turtle, because you popped in my head, I guess you're talking about me. I guess it's y'all got a show coming up. Turtle's talking about me. So thank you to everybody. I just wanted to stop for a moment and say thank you. Not as Red, but as Sean. So PL, I can't forget PL and Lori, even though he's part of the Chicago connection, but still, we're fourth wall. So thank you. All right. Go ahead.
So
Can I
go
say
ahead.
one more last thing? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Steve, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I know
Show.
we got time. A couple more people, and I was thinking about it, and I felt bad. Eric Allen, that's my homeboy from St. Louis. He made some of my gear, my merch, and he's also been a best friend since I met him. I used to be his bodyguard back in MECW days. So all my people in MECW as well. That's another fourth wall stories I will break down for you guys.
We're gonna have to have Chris Logan part 2 because I want some of these stories. I don't smoke cigars. I need these stories.
Nope.
And one more, and another guy, Ryan Cross. Sorry I left you out, bro. That right after Tony Scarpone gave me a great opportunity. Ryan Cross did as well. Ryan gave me a shot at SSW, so I love him for that as well. So it is so many people that have impacted my life and in my career, and it's hard for me to and not so much remember it, but it's just like so much there. And thank you all, seriously.
So many people, so little time. I know.
Dude, it's seriously, it really is.
This is why I love to do this show, because of the storytelling and the stories that you and C-Red have shared tonight, and some of the tales that you have told are what makes this interesting and what makes it spectacular. And I am in awe of what you guys do, coming as an outsider to this industry, to watch to hear the stories of where you come from to where you are now, and to be part of your journey in a small way is something that I will always respect, appreciate, and love, and be grateful for at the moment. To Chris Logan, I say congratulations on being the first ever Chicago-Land Championship Wrestling Champion. And we look forward to what you are doing on April 17th when you go head-to-head with the Shogun. To C-Red, I wouldn't be here without you, and I appreciate all that you bring to the table. And for those of you that don't understand where these guys have come from, the past is prologue. It's where they've been to where they are that makes for fascinating storytelling. And I just am happy that I get to be here to listen to all these great stories. Don't miss next week when we sit down with the entire cast of the Sin City Playboys. Can't say I'm looking forward to that all that much, but we'll have them all here on this show, the Power Hour, next week.
All of them?
All of them. To Chris Logan, the champion, the product, the man with the plan that had the biggest moment on Amazon Prime. Thank you, my friend. It is a great pleasure to walk in your shadow and to call you the champion. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me on your show, bro. Same to you, C. I'll talk to you.
All right. Appreciate you, bro.
Good night, everybody. We will catch you next week right here on the Power Hour with C-Red and Steve. Good night, everybody.